Hey, you guys, it is beautiful to see you again. Monday lunchtime, inside the leaders' minds. Let's update your tools, methods, and mindset all around how to be a leader, what it means to be a leader in our everyday life. And of course, if you are a leader of a company, team, maybe even a family or friend group, then this is for you. And I finally welcome Alex back in the game. I'm really, really happy to see you, Alex, again here. How are you doing back in Bali?
Hi, Renato. Also good to see you again. And hello, guys, everybody watching here. Good to have you around again. I'm doing very good. And I'm sitting here in Ubud having 25 degrees, some mosquitoes biting me, but I'm super happy to be here with all of you together and share some, thoughts, knowledge, and inspirations with you. How are you doing, Renato? How is it in Dubai?
So thank you for asking. Dubai is very hot still. I really appreciate to be here and like to experience this crazy town. Like the vibes here are absolutely astounding, and I'm practicing to be in awe in the sense like to be astounded and to see what I can learn, what I can take away. So it's absolutely amazing. I'm very, very grateful to be here. Alex, today we wanted to like talk in the coming 15 to 20 minutes about the ability to respond. So the response ability, yes. How I perceive it in my day-to-day life with clients, groups, and whatnot that I'm having to do with, the ability to respond in the sense responsibility for many has like a very strong association, either positive or negative. People associate pressure with it, people associate importance with it, and so forth. So the responsibility is something that plays a huge role in our society, right? And so what I've been taught and what I then been able to discover is that responsibility is actually a two word in that sense, where we are talking about the ability to respond. And so I found, especially for leaders, be that in your day-to-day life or be that like in a team environment, our ability to directly respond to what is happening is absolutely crucial to make the right choices and then of course to go to the right direction. Okay, so what I wanted to share today and ask you now and ask of you what you think about is the first question: what impairs our responsibility, as in our ability to respond? What do you feel, Alex? Is it that impairs, say, blocks or hinders our ability to respond?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question, Renato, and I really like how you put this word responsibility into two, which gives a total new context to this word. And I think our main responsibility is the ability to respond, and this leads us in a certain direction. And what impairs our responsibility, to speaking generally, is experience itself. So we can have good experience, negative experience, and based on our experience, we tend to respond to what life is offering to us. So if my past has been very hard and difficult, I tr- I might tend to respond in a more aggressive way, or even in a more suppressed way, in a way that I try to hide myself. And if life has been good, I might respond in a more happy, open way. So what impairs our responsibility is our conditioning, for sure. So, and as you might know, um, dear listener, you know, sometimes you come together with a person and you say something and the other person is freaking out or is getting angry, and you haven't done anything false. You didn't mean it in a bad way, but you just said something. And what happened is that the other person, based on her conditioning, took whatever you said in a certain way, and this made her feel this way. So, yeah, this impairs our responsibility. So, what do you think about this, Renato? What is for you the thing which impairs our responsibility?
I believe absolutely. First of all, you just put that beautifully. I think the more we understand our conditioning, the more we can, like, liberate, if you will, enhance our ability to respond. And how I see it, there's a couple of very essential points as you said, around the conditioning and what we can actually practice on a daily basis to get um, to improve our ability to respond, such as like the way that we are present, the way that we are staying in the here and now. I believe the more that we are drifting off, the more we are with our mind in the future or the past, say, the more we impair ourselves, as you said, according to our conditioning. But if I'm here and if I'm able to see you now, how you are, um, how you appear, how you come across, say, without, um, say, judging, without comparing, the more I can actually take you as the real Alex sitting in front of me. But if I'm continuously, say, evaluating, judging, I'm in the past someplace where I've gathered reference points of what is okay, what is, socially accepted. And then I put that onto you while I talk to you. Of course, this will impair greatly the way that I am a bit like able to respond. So staying present is a very crucial element. Another one for me is like to feel. So like instead of thinking how the situation is supposed to be, creating expectations would not. I believe that a very crucial aspect is how I feel the situation, because when I feel when I'm using my felt sense in in that regard, I'm using my entire system to gather information of the current situation. If I'm thinking, I only use a fraction of my ability to gather data of the moment. And so the felt sense in that in this context, I believe, is another very important element to practice, and what then can of course be impaired the more we analyze, the more we create expectations and so forth. And then the last thing that comes for me to mind when it comes to what it impairs is what examples do we have? What people do we lead? Who do we model? You maybe know this little sentence: "We are the five people that we surround ourselves with."
Mm.
And that can be in a working environment, it can be in a family environment, can be like just friends, whatever. Everyone that is gathering around me, I will mirror to a certain degree. Even if I try to stay very rigid and very closed, I still gather data. I still update how I behave. So leading by an example or gathering quality examples will then be the measure by which I am able to respond in the very moment. Because if I am having, I don't know, crackheads, people who are continuously abusing children, women, whatever, or are violent in general, if I have that as a surrounding, then I will become that, and hence I will react like this and respond in the moment. The same goes if I am working with people or gathering people around me who inspire me to be great, to really help people, to stay learning, trying to continuously work on myself, then that will be who I am going to be in the moment and respond as such. So this is kind of like what it leads me into the second question. And I would love to learn a little bit more about how, like, if we want to lead by example, what example should we really, look for if we really want to be the best possible version of ourselves, and we understand that, say, um, the five people around us will inevitably be the people that we are gathering most examples from and then become. What kind of examples should we really look for? What kind of characteristics and ways are sure way to up level ourselves continuously? What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I guess one thing we really have to look for is again openness. So that fits perfectly to the last conversations we had. So being totally open to to what is happening inside of me and communicating this. This is one point, and being open again to be wrong about my own perception, knowing okay, I have some conditioning. Still, if I even if I worked a lot of things out, I know. I mean, I'm still in a human being, a simple human being with simple human emotions, simple human thoughts. and there's so much more to learn, and the openness to be false and not know anything, so be, let's say, be neutral to whatever's coming to me. This is a very big fundament. So I really look up to people who are honest, honest to themselves, honest to other people, and showing their wisdom, like Albert Einstein. He said, like, I know that I don't know anything, right? And if
Mhm.
somebody knows a lot, then he was the one, and he knows that much, that he knew he don't know anything at all. So I hope this made some sense, what I said right now. Yeah, and yeah, that
Absolutely.
this is for me. So I'm playing back the ball to you. What
100%.
example would you like to be in order to lead others?
Yeah, I believe what you're touching on is a very dear subject to me, and it goes into the direction of being a beginner always. Like the
Yeah,
beginner's mind is something that very much inspires me to stay humble and always like stay learning, not for the sake of humiliating myself or downplaying who I am. I think that those are very like two distinct different things. But appreciating what I don't know for the sake of um, the joy of learning, if you will. So I really, really love that when I understand. Yes, as you said, even if I think or people would say that I know much, I still don't know a fraction of what I could know. Plus, is it up here or is it down in the heart? I believe there is again like a huge difference. So for me, authenticity is one of the major player when it comes to incorporating an example, like being an authentic person, like for example, today maybe you guys notice it, maybe not, but I'm kind of worn out. So like over the course of the past week, like I had to kind of battle a little bit against the cold that was trying to sneak up on me. So like it was troublesome sometimes to sleep and whatnot. So and plus I was training 2 times a day, like still showing up, still being who I am, and just saying, hey, this is me, right? And I don't want to upplay who I am, and neither want to be downplaying who I am. I am, and being authentic the way that I am and how I am coming across is one of the major players for me to understand and incorporate and say gather people around me. I love to be with authentic people, people who are just the way they are, without trying to incorporate a certain image or trying to always be right. Yeah, that's one element. Another one is transparency, of course. As I just said, like today, I'm kind of like on a very thin layer. But just being open and honest, as you said yourself, and transparent, what the current state of affairs is. I really love people around me where I know what's up. They're not trying to hide anything, that they're walking and talking who they are. And then lastly, of course, I believe that a very great element for me to look for and to incorporate and lead by is appreciation. Appreciating the chance that I'm sitting here, that I have all these nice tools, that I'm sitting in Dubai, like 92nd floor, like I've so much luxury in comparison to so many other people on the planet. The more I appreciate what I have, the more it is growing, right? If I am looking for lack, if I'm looking for the things that I don't have, eventually this will create my reality. So gathering people around me who incorporate a deep sense of appreciation helps me help others. So it's kind of like what my thought is around that, and that kind of like leads me into the last question of the day, like how to be authentic and true as a leader. What do you think could be practices that we could do on a daily basis that would really like help us become more authentic and open, as you said?
yeah, it fits perfectly to what I wanted to add on what you just said right now. So you were talking about humbleness, and that it's not, putting yourself down. Um, so humbleness actually is putting yourself up when you look at from a paradoxic way, because not being right, or the ability to know you're not right, so you stay humble, beginner's mind, is the deep understanding of that your mind is always limited, and this, you know, looking to the first question, your conditioning is all in your mind. So you're always looking through the mind of the glasses of the past, trying to catch the future. But again, you're just repeating the past over and over again. And by knowing, okay, here's a big limitation, you start to, yeah, I would not say disconnect, but to take it not so seriously what happens between your ears. And then what happens is you listen more to your heart. And this is, I believe, really what makes us the most authentic and true leader. That we find a way to again connect through our emotions. I mean, heart is not the source of emotions, by the way, but through our emotions, through our pain, going through it, and finally come back to our heart, to open our heart, listen to the wisdom of our heart, which is always in the present moment. You said like being in the present is very important, right? And why it's our mind is always going crazy with past and future, it cannot be in the present moment. Our heart is the center of the present moment. And this is the center where our true uniqueness is coming from, Some people would say, somebody's living out of the heart, it's just a love. And no, this is the center of who you really are. And if you get your mind a bit more out of the way, or let's say not the mind controlling the heart, but the heart controlling the mind, then I guess very naturally you become authentic in a very, very nice way. Authentic and unique. The
I love
mind
that.
always tries to become someone and looking to other examples. So you actually copy others,
Mm-hmm.
but your heart cannot be copied.
Yeah,
So yeah, and this
beautiful,
for
man.
me is the way to be
Absolutely.
true to yeah.
I have
Yeah.
little to add to that, honestly. Yeah, because I think you
Yeah.
just brought that beautifully to the point. I mean, especially the reference around to recognize when we are in the head, in that sense, like in the past or the future, trying to analyze and create expectations and ideas and whatnot. And the moment we recognize that, then shifting back to the heart, to the moment in that sense, and appreciating and just flowing with whatever comes. I mean, I'm very sure, and it's like an open secret in that sense. The best experiences always have been spontaneous ones that just happened. And I don't know anyone, who would, contradict that concept. And it's so true, right? So yeah, for me, it's like to stay accountable, to stay, as I said, like to stay accountable and say like, yes, this is what's happening right now. Like say to talk my heart, as you also referred to, just to speak what I feel, not the context of what I feel, but to speak the emotion. What's the situation down here? What's actually happening, right? I know like the heart is basically metaphorically speaking the place of the emotions, but really, if you want to go with that metaphor, how accurate can I describe how I feel? And then how able am I to respond from that place in a moment? That's kind of like a practice that I can do on a daily basis, simply asking myself, what's happening emotionally here? Like, do I feel maybe weak? Maybe I feel uncertain, or I feel very happy, overflowing with joy. And then maybe I limit my expression for the sake of preconceived ideas of the conditioned mind, right? To hopefully still stay socially acceptable so that people hopefully still like me. But maybe my expression right now is just to go completely out of myself, or just wow, mega amazing, whatever. But because I'm afraid of judgment again, head kicks in and played off is my game, right? So I think that's really what I want to say to that end. Speaking and following your truth, I love to follow people when I know that they're authentic, when I know that they're speaking their hearts. And maybe sometimes I don't agree. That's fine. But at least I know what's true. And there's no, diplomacy and games around, blah, blah. I really don't like that. And so I start to gather people around me, start to try and practice this um, to recognize what's happening in my heart, right? So what is there like a last idea that you want to give the people who are watching with? Because I really believe this is like a huge topic, and I'm very sure we could talk endlessly about it, but we're kind of coming to the end of our 20 minutes. So anything that you would love to add to that, Alex?
Yeah. If anybody's out there who says, okay, nice, I have to listen to my heart, but I don't know its language because I don't feel emotion at all. I don't know how it was for you, Renato, but I guess from a certain time it might have been the same. But for me, it was the most time of my life I didn't have a connection to emotions at all. Couldn't feel emotions. I didn't have like a wow, and I didn't have a meh. So it was something like I was super numb, I could say. And because I disconnected from emotion in a very young age because of certain experiences. So better not be hurted, so but not feeling anything. So
Mm,
it's very worth it again, or in general, it's very worth it to get in touch with your emotions again. This is the first thing I want to say. I want to close the call with, because emotions are the spice in your soup. Without
100%.
emotions, soup is very fat, fat, fade.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
It's
The
not
richness
not
dissolves, right?
yeah, it's not very exciting, right?
Mhm.
And the other thing is, how can you get back? I want to give you the tip. How can you get back into your heart? Of course, you can do some healing stuff, looking into past and all these things. But to really get in touch with your heart, its language is joy. So really follow your joy. Do what you love. And whatever you do because of whatsoever, just money, just this, just that, but you don't love it, actually, maybe you hate it, this is a very good way to disconnect from your heart even further. So start to look really what gives you joy in life and enhance these things. Do it more often. Okay, this
Mhm.
is my recommendation. And anything you want to add, Renato?
I mean, you just brought it to the point. For me, one element is to say, okay, understanding that in the moment, our responsibility can increase exponentially, and how we can get back to the moment is basically what we talked about today. The ability to respond in that sense, to take up responsibility for our ability to respond, um, makes for me a formidable leader, if you will, an exceptional person, and someone really pleasurable to be around, you know? And so that's what we talked about today. And I think you just brought that to a beautiful point, just really following our hearts. And usually in the heart, in a moment, there's curiosity, you know, joy is at home in a moment. So if that is what we can follow, absolutely 100%. And of course, our conditioning will kick in. And this is why we are keeping updating our tools and motivations and methodologies around how to be a leader in our day. And yeah, I mean, basically, I really want to thank you again, Alex, for the richness of your input. I really appreciate these conversations we have here every week around lunchtime. It's very, very enriching for my experience. And I really hope that you and everyone who was listening, who was tuning in until this point, was getting away something from the for them. And yeah, I really look forward to our next session next week. And if you guys have any kind of questions, anything that you feel like you would love to get updated on, let me know, please. And we make sure to integrate it in our questions. Also, if you realize that something was not so good, please also do shoot critics to us. I believe this is also around leadership. If you really want to increase your capacity, your competence, you need to stay available for criticism. So please do always send that. And I'm really looking forward to next Monday, Monday lunchtime. Thank you, Alex. Thank you guys for listening, for tuning in. And I see you next week. Bye bye.